Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Cinema Smokedoggery. I'm your friendly neighborhood hookologist, as always. Joining me today is
Producer man Isaac, what is going on, everybody?
Isaac. You need to break the news to everybody. What are we covering today?
It finally happened, guys. It finally happened. I'm so excited to talk about this. Our
Wait,
friend neighborhood hookahologist has finally gone to the dark side and watched the Star Trek movies, the modern Star Trek movies. I never thought this day would come. Tommy, how was your experience? And don't lie.
okay, first of all, I'm going to say this and as a non-biased point of view. As I told Isaac, I will watch these non-biased, turned away all my Star Wars memorabilia away as I watched the Star Trek movies. And from a cinematic point of view, they're very well made. It's very digestible for the story if you don't know anything about Star Trek. I'm actually super surprised in the star power they had in here. They had Chris Hemsworth play Kirk's dad. They had the Savior as Kirk's mom. And they're not bad movies. They're not. Like I don't hate them, from me loving movies, right? Now, as a Star Wars fan, fuck these movies. Fucking hate them. They can die. But I will say they weren't bad to watch. I really did like put my phone down and watch the first one like full force, and I was like, it was actually very interesting. Although the one critique I will have for them is I don't like in every movie that there is a time traveler in them. Like I just think that's kind of dumb. But that's just me nitpicking. But I think
Mhm.
like overall, they weren't bad movies. Like I did. I hate to say it, I kind of enjoyed them.
Wow, I'm
I,
honestly
I
quite
really I,
surprised.
I really do want to hate. I hate to say it. Like I was talking to my buddy Jason yesterday. He's like, "You're an undercover Trekkie." And I'm like, "No, I am not. Like I don't. I still don't like the franchise in general. But they're not bad movies. I will say that."
That's actually really funny because there's more to this topic that I wanted to talk to you about, and I'd actually told you about this that I wanted to cover it on the podcast. So
Yeah.
I have to
So
ask
what's
you.
worse? What is worse, the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy or the Star Trek reboots?
So yeah, that's my question to you. After careful consideration, I gave you a few days to think about it.
I really had to think about it, and you know what? The Star Wars prequel sequels are worse than the Star Trek.
Wow.
I will say it here first. You know what? I might get some hate comments about it, but to be quite honest, I enjoyed these more than I did the Star Wars sequels. And I think,
I'm
and
surprised.
this is the major reason why, is because Star Wars relies on so much more lore to know, and they really try to grab you in with Episode 7 with all the old characters. Like they rely so much on like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia. They rely so heavily on them that they can't let the new cast like really grow, right? But using Star Trek, doing a reboot, using established characters and giving them a new light made them more enjoyable to me, I guess, in a sense. Like, don't get me wrong, the best part of the sequel trilogy is Kylo Ren's story, although I think they did him dirty at the end.
Yeah.
But,
I feel
I
like
think,
I feel like with the Star Trek like franchise as a whole, I feel like as if the Star Trek modern versions of them made those characters cool instead of being cringy and
oh, yeah,
outdated.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure if they got William Shatner to like be a part of it, it would be very campy, right? I didn't
Yeah.
like how they used Leonard Nimoy Spock in the first two, and he was just kind of there. I think that was kind of like again, that's my nitpick with it. Like I don't like the time travel aspect with them and how their new parallel universes. I think it's kind of stupid. But they do rely heavily on the cast and like they do really well with character development. Like I actually cared about Spock, although I didn't like the relationship he had with Ahura because I think that was just kind of dumb. But yeah, I hate to say it. I think the Star Wars sequels, and I thought I was gonna like the sequels more, and I took some deep thought into this. I sat like this for an hour, just contemplating the question, and I hate that you made me answer this question, mind you. I fucking hate you, you dirty son of a bitch.
Well,
That
okay,
is,
well, let's make a comparison here right now because obviously there's still Star Trek TV shows happening right now that I hear are actually pretty good. And let's look
it,
at a
it
lineup right now for the Disney Star Wars TV shows that have come out in the past couple of years that have not been that great. It's
okay. So
all
the
relying
major,
on
the
nostalgia, 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 nostalgia,
I
nostalgia.
100% like that's the driving force with Star Wars. They're not making new stories that are like good. They're basing it off their old properties, and I think that's the problem with Star Wars. Is that the major thing too is Star Trek is way more technical and way more scientific, and Star Wars is more fantasy. You know, with the aspect of the Force, the Empire, and all the other stuff. Like it's crazy. Like they have a lot more stories to tell, but everything that's come out and everything with Disney Star Wars, they're not basing it off new material. They're surrounding it based on one common theme, like Rebels with Order 66 and the new Jedi Ezra and Kanan, right? Then you have Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. They're basing off two established characters from the Clone Wars to base off their series. Ahsoka
Mhm.
is a spin-off of a spin-off, right? And the Ahsoka series was okay. Like it really was a slow burn. Andor, I still haven't watched, although like everyone keeps telling me I have to give it a watch because it's good. And then I have that thing I tell you all the time, like I don't want to watch Andor because I didn't like him in the movie of Rogue One. And even Rogue One has that problem too. It was a fantastic movie. I love it so much. Like it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. But the whole premise is based off the Death Star. And then they have James Earl Jones, may he rest in peace. They rely on him to hold the movie together at the end, with his hallway scene and with him, with director Krennic talking to Darth Vader.
Honestly, I'm getting kind of tired of the stuff that's in between these fucking movies.
And I can see the direction that the Acolyte went with, right? They wanted to tell an original story, and I thought that was great. In the High Republic era of a time that we don't really get a lot of, right? But what they did was kind of botch the lore of the Darth Plagueis and Lord Sidious. Like it is stupid. To me, it's
It's
stupid.
like it's the
Like
thing that always makes me like cringe over the fact that when it comes to these like Star Wars TV shows, is that like you have the lore, you have the blueprint. It's been already pretty much discussed in books. It's already been, established in some way, shape, or form, some form of origin story or whatever. Yet they have the audacity to still want to do whatever they want for the sake of
yeah,
doing what they want. And you know what though? I don't even know if that's entirely Disney's fault either. I think it has to do with the director itself, the person who's writing these scripts. 9 times out of 10, they probably haven't even read a Star Wars book or seen a fucking Star Wars movie. And if they have, then I don't know what you're doing because you're insulting the fucking franchise by doing shit like that.
yeah.
And it's actually really interesting to me that, they're speaking of like, I was talking to my friend, bringing this up as a side note. Like, I don't have no problem with women directors or women, creating shit for franchises and stuff because sometimes they come up with some really cool ass shit. They came up with
Mhm.
some pretty cool shit in Acolyte, but this kind of my issue is more with lore in a sense of
Yeah,
like, Warhammer.
yeah.
So, did you know that they're trying to make a Warhammer TV show?
No, I didn't know that. But
Well,
it's a fun fact. My
mhm.
stepdad, he's a carpenter, so I got into Warhammer when I was a kid. I never really played. I just liked the little figurines. My friend had them, so I got like the base set with the Tyranid and the Space Marines. I painted them red, and they didn't realize they were different kind of Marines after that. But that's besides the point. He built me a little Warhammer table that I had in my room. It was fucking cool. Like
Sick.
desert terrain on one side, grassy terrain on the other, and then there was a river in between. I
Well,
was so
the
fucking cool.
the reason why I bring this up is like, so when it comes to lore, I don't know if you know the full lore. I barely know the full lore, but for what was explained to me is that in the lore, women can't be soldiers, like like the Space Marine, whatever those people are called, whatever those things are, because
Yeah,
they. But apparently, in the Warhammer TV show, they tried to make women be able to wear like be soldiers like that, but it's not in the lore.
So they're trying to break the lore.
Because apparently now is like a thing now where a woman needs to have a certain amount of dialogue in a TV show. It needs to be part of the center point of the story. So I just think it's
Really?
interesting, like when it comes to like the lore itself, like I never have a problem with that kind of stuff. If it works, it works.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that like when there's actual lore that's like decades, if not more, already established, and you decide to completely change it, I don't know, it kind of bugs me. I understand creative liberties. Sometimes you can even make it better, but when you're
Hmm.
doing the complete opposite, I don't know, man. It's just it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. So, you know, back to our discussion of Star Trek and the movies. This will not make me a Trekkie. I'm gonna say that now.
I never like thought it was going to. I just wanted you to watch the movies for the sake of the fact that now you've seen them and you can't entirely shit on Star Trek.
Oh, I still can. 100%. I'll find a way.
Yes, I can't. Yes, you can, and that's fine because you're a Star Wars fan at the end of the day, and that's fine. But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is that I wanted you to be able to establish the fact that yes, I've seen these movies and they're not half bad. And now I have one over on you over the fact that now you think they're better than the fucking Disney movies, which is actually hilarious in my point of
It's
view.
it's it's so he guys, you do not understand how many years. How Isaac, how long have we known each other? Damn near a decade, and he's been trying to get me to watch these fucking movies. And every single fucking time, I tell him, "Go fuck yourself. I'm not doing it."
But yeah,
No.
dude, like
Okay, so you
I
got
think
my
it's
opinion.
funny. I think it's really funny, and I think it's pretty cool that you actually did it. I didn't think you were gonna do it, and the fact that you coughed up money to actually buy the DVD versions of
I
it is
spent
actually pretty funny.
$13 on Amazon for these
This guy still
fucking
hasn't
pieces
let
of
it go because he thinks he wants me to pay compensation for pain. And
so pain and suffering charges. Pain and suffering charges. You need to pay $12, asshole.
then you need pain and
Fucking.
suffering charges for all your exes, hookers, all these shit.
Shut up. Oh my god.
Wait
We're
till they start
even
coming
then.
to collect. Wait till they start coming to
Bro, that's why I can't get famous. Like I can't. Like they'll come for me. I know it. Oh my god.
You can't
No,
get famous?
I just I don't want to get famous because I know somewhere in the
Bro, you get
woodwork
canceled
there's
in the first week.
bro, this they, they leak our group chats, I get canceled. German would too. German would leak them out just to be like, oh yeah, man, he's a dirtbag. Fuck that guy.
Like, how long have you known the person? I was like, fuck that guy. I've
No,
known him all
like
my
it's
life.
crazy. Oh my god, it's crazy like how good these movies are. Like it's really like I again cinematically they're spectacular looking to see, right? But it's just so interesting to see how what they did with these established characters and how they made them more like you said, more modern, more hip, more fun. You know, these and the Star Trek like franchise as I know it, right, is the things I know. It's real episodic and it's not real more action based. It's more based on science and how they figure out different problems, right? If I understand correctly. If I'm wrong, someone's going to let me know. I'm sure. And then everybody who knows me is gonna be like, "You're a fucking traitor. How dare you?" You know, I had a client like fight with me about Disney Star Wars in particular. I'm like, look, if we accept only the good and not the bad, we're no worse than the Trekkies. And then I told her about my podcast and what I'm doing. She's like, oh man, I feel sorry for your soul. I'm like, I will be judged at the heavens gates. Be like, oh, well, he was talking so much shit about Star Trek, but look, he's a hypocrite. He watched them. Yeah, I guess we'll let you in. Oh man, I just and the real problem with Disney Star Wars, the sequels, I think in particular, everyone's gonna say the same thing. I'm not the only one. Is gonna be Ray's story. Ray's
Yeah,
story
but
was
Ray's
very like,
story, I feel like had so many fucking rewrites that they honestly had no idea what they were gonna try to tease. Because at first we thought, oh, maybe Luke's daughter. Oh, maybe Obi-Wan's daughter. Blah blah
I
blah
would,
blah blah
yeah,
the
like
entire
I
time. And then to find out that she's a fucking Palpatine just
that's
completely just destroys everything.
yeah,
Because
no,
it
you
makes
know
no
what,
sense.
like I like the idea that she came from nothing and that just show that anyone could be force sensitive and can be a hero, right? She didn't have
No,
to
because
be a
it defeats the
reincarnation of the
purpose.
No, I'm just saying like anyone can be a Jedi, right? If you have an
Yeah,
high of, I'm just saying, but like to give her a lineage at like that, like it's kind of, I thought that was dumb. And then I don't understand how she wants to be claiming to be a Skywalker because she barely knew Leia, and Luke was not her found father. Like the Skywalker bloodline was not her found family.
what makes it
You
even
know?
funnier is because Princess Leia didn't even go by Leia Skywalker.
Yeah, she still went by Organa like the whole time. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying about the sequel trilogy. They relied so heavily on everyone else. It was nostalgia bait after nostalgia bait. I call Episode 9 fan service the movie. Oh, fun fact! I just found this out very recently that Star Trek Beyond was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek itself. Just like how the Rise of Skywalker was the fifth, like the 45th anniversary of Star Wars. I just thought that was a fun fact to throw there. I just don't know.
I
Oh, you
think
know what?
hmm?
I will say in like Beyond wasn't that bad. Start the first Star Trek was good. Into Darkness, I will say is like if you don't know who Khan is, right? If you weren't a Star Trek fan who watched the original Wrath of Khan, I don't think revealing Khan as the villain and that one makes a lot of sense because he did like, okay, you're Khan. Who the fuck's that? Right? I know enough about. It's so funny. I shit on Star Trek so much that I know these fucking characters and I know some of the lore of it, but I still just decide to hate on it because it's just part of my nature as a Star Wars fan. So like I get it, like you Khan's supposed to be a big villain name, but then it's just like who is if you don't watch these series beforehand, if you didn't do like all the research and all watch all the movies and the videos, like you're not gonna know who Khan is. So I like how Star Trek didn't do what Star Wars did and go for nostalgia bait. You know, they went for quality movies and telling original stories with this new cast, with just happens to have the same names. I know. I think if Star Wars did something similar, had new characters or even revamped characters and just gave them a new light, it would work. I think that's why The Mandalorian works so well because you have some established characters, but it's not heavily reliant on it. Right? That's why The Mandalorian worked, and that's why the Book of Boba Fett didn't because they gave they tried to do an original story of Boba Fett, but it just didn't suit the characters that they established already. Right? Ahsoka did do that, like we have an established character, we know her backstory, and it worked well. And I think that's why some of the Disney Star Wars hits, some of it doesn't, because they don't know what they're doing with these characters. Tamar Morrison is a great actor, and I will never like he is now like because I was a kid and I saw him as Jango Fett, so he's Jango and Boba Fett to me, right? But so somebody who's older than me and saw the original will be like, no, that's not the original Boba Fett. Get the fuck out of here. God, just talking about it really makes me sick to my stomach.
No, I get it. It's understandable.
It's and like and I hate that I like it. Like it's that weird feeling that and it's like, well, you know what?
You know what's
So
funny? You remind me of that movie. Your exact personality of like how you act towards Star Trek is reminds me of that movie Fanboys.
oh, it was like, oh, that way we can track these Trekkie bitches into our store and tell you get the fuck out.
Yeah,
I've seen
I
so
feel
many
like you fit
times.
along perfectly with that crew.
You know what? Yeah, 100%. Like that's I haven't seen that movie in a hot minute. Like I want to rewatch it now. Is it on Disney Plus? No, Fanboys is on Disney Plus.
I think I saw Fanboys on. Let me see. Look it up on my phone. Use the Oracle.
Use the use Google. Oh, other fun fact, guys. We might not be doing this far away from each other anymore. Some new developments in life have happened, and I'm moving back to the Bay Area. Isaac's not very excited because now he has to deal with me again.
Damn.
He's like, "Oh man, I can ignore his call. I can't ignore his calls anymore. He's fucking up the street."
It's on Tubi.
Oh, Tubi's the free. That's even
Yeah, it's
better.
free. Free with ads. You know how much you
Yeah,
love
I mean,
ads.
I mean, I can care less about them. Like, I don't like paying for no ads. I don't think it does anything better.
Yeah, it takes rid of the ads.
Oh my god, you and fucking German alike. I just thought it was so funny. Like the one day we're all watching Hulu at my house, you and German both like, why the fuck don't you pay the extra $3 for no ads? I'm like, because it's $3.
Yeah, you have no problem doing other shit.
I have no problem spending money on like $300 or $400 on hookah products for the month, and like, no, $3, absolutely not.
Yep. $3, not even enough for strippers and cocaine, apparently.
And stop it with that. The viewers don't need to know about my extracurricular activities, asshole.
You don't even do that anymore. All your stripper friends are not here.
Yeah. Speaking of which, she called me the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's
She
like,
needs
"Oh,
your
I get
money.
to spend." Yeah, she missed my money. She's like, "Oh, I get to spend your money again." I'm like, "You fucking bitch! Can't be excited that I'm coming home. Excited that I can spend more money at the club. I can't believe." Sheesh. Isaac, so what do you think was better between the Star Trek trilogy and the Disney trilogy?
Hmm. That's a good question. If we're looking at it from like movie to movie, I would say that probably the first Star Trek is probably definitely better. I think definitely better than The Force Awakens.
And it's funny because they have the same director.
Yeah. So like, but then if you look at like, if you look at the other two, obviously like The Last Jedi is subpar to both.
Yeah.
But like from an ending standpoint, from the third movie, what do you personally feel, if they compare side to side, which one do you think is the better movie?
Beyond. Beyond is the better movie. It ended differently. Like you have like this crossroads with Kirk and Spock, and that's what they put a lot of emphasis on these movies. Like the relationship between the two of them is that Spock and Kirk are just kind of done with the Enterprise, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if we want to do this anymore, right?" And
Mhm.
then and then at the end of the movie, they come together. They're like, "You know what? Maybe we should still run the Enterprise. Like, I think it's going to be a fun adventure." And I love the callback. Be like, "Oh, everything in space is starting to feel episodic, right?" It was a nice little nod to the how Star Trek was as an episodic series. So I think, like, I know for a fact, like, the Rise of Skywalker was just a terrible ending. Like they had so many problems with production, the loss of Carrie Fisher, So that aside, this from a story point of view, the story doesn't end very well. It didn't wrap up like what we said before in a video that we never even published, but it was a nice movie, but it wasn't a good ending to the Skywalker saga, which we have fully established 30, 40 years of Star Wars. But what Star Trek Beyond did, they wrapped up their story nicely and still left it open if they wanted to tell more stories.
That's true. I agree with you on that.
Com- yeah, compared to the Rise of Skywalker, they kind of said we're done with the Skywalker saga for now, and we're done with it. So I'm like, all right, cool.
I have another question for you.
Mm.
Do you feel that the Star Wars franchise and the Marvel franchise are going through the same thing right now and it's fatigue?
No, I don't think either franchise is going through fatigue. I think it's just oversaturation,
Okay, do
right?
you feel like it's overly saturated now?
Yeah, other than what's coming out now with Marvel and with Star Wars, right? What's not coming to the future from the years of 2020 to now, we've gotten so much Star Wars in between that time, so much Marvel in between that time, right? Is that
You think that's Disney's problem though? Is that they're oversaturating their products now and shoving it down
I
people's
think
throats?
I think it's they're on a high, right? I'm like, oh my god, we got this going. We got to keep it going. They don't know how to keep it going, right? They've gotten a taste of what it could be, and let's just take the MCU's, Infinity Saga. It was a well done saga because they did it in a way where it wasn't too overly
Yeah,
matched,
because they
right?
took their time and now they're in a rush.
Now they're not taking their time; they just want to pound more stuff out. Exactly. So if they took the
But
time
I
to like build
honestly
this,
think because of what I'm pretty sure that I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine set the catalyst for the step in the right direction of taking their time now because I think they realize
Right.
that they fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, let's take again. We shit on Quantum Mania all the time. Yeah, I think it's a great movie, right? It was a fantastic movie. It was a nice little start to everything, to this new multiverse saga. But having Ant-Man have Ant-Man beat Kang doesn't make any sense, right? But if you take that aside, like the movie itself is actually pretty good. You got nice callbacks. They have Marvel charm with it. You know, they have the jokes and everything else. And Ant-Man's kind of a goofy character the way they portrayed him.
If you take Kang out of the equation and just have MODOK be the villain, I
I think it
think
would work so much better.
it's a solid movie.
So much better if MODOK was the villain overall instead of
And they did MODOK
instead
dirty,
of
so like
I want to meet like MODOK's supposed to be a cold calculated machine, right? And they made him a joke,
yeah, so that's
which
what I'm
was a
saying.
mistake.
If they had just taken Kang out of the equation, if you take Kang out of the equation and you have MODOK be the villain, it works perfectly fine.
Have him be a little less
It
goofy,
cleans
but a
up
little bit more.
Ant-Man 1 as to what happened with the with the yellow jacket. Then he became MODOK later on inside the quantum realm,
Yeah,
and it basically reestablishes the movies from the past, cleaning up
yeah,
all the other stuff. It's all you had to do.
yeah. So, okay, question for you is if you were to have to like if with the stories that we have with both MCU and Star Wars, what would you probably fix? Right? What would you want to see less of and more of?
Was wait, sorry, repeat the question.
What would you rather see more of in Star Wars, right, and less of?
More of in Star. I want to see more original stories. Like I feel like now they're getting desperate and now they're doing shit that no one even asked for. Like who the fuck wants to know about the skeleton crew? Like maybe it could be good, but like, who the fuck, like I like Bad Batch for instance. Like that stuff's pretty cool. It's original. It's its own thing. It's in the story of what happens in between certain things, but it works because it's animated. I think like the Star Wars needs to Disney needs to go back to animated Star Wars stuff for a little while
Hmm.
because it works. They haven't been critically like bombshelled like the live action ones have.
Oh my god, I just thought of something right now. Okay, so what is the main thing that we say about MCU movies and DC movies,
DC animated movies are better than Marvel movies. Marvel
right?
animated movies.
Right? What you just said makes so much sense. Animated movies and animated stuff works so much better in Star Wars than it does in live action sometimes.
Yes, that is very true.
I just made the correlation. So DC and Warner Brothers and Star Trek are in one category, at the same they're the same side of the fucking coin.
Yeah, yes and no because Star Trek live action stuff looks better. It is done better than Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. And I have never seen an animated Star Trek anything.
They have that one kid show.
Do you know what's funny too? And I was watching some video and someone made the comment that Seth MacFarlane is such a big Star Trek fan that he basically made his own Star Trek show.
Yeah,
Like he
Orville.
willed that
It's
shit
actually
into
pretty
existence.
good.
Yeah,
Orville's pretty good.
I hear that.
I feel like you like Orville. It's like as if family. It's like Family Guy. Like
Yeah,
just
then
like
I probably
random.
would like it. Yeah, I
It's
think
like as
it's
if
like
yeah.
I might just give it a shot now that I've opened my horizons to Star Trek. Like I'm not gonna say that I am like for sure, but I might just consider it a little bit
Honestly, yeah,
more than
because
usual.
it's not even that like loosely even like close to like it's like it's more like paying homage to Star Trek in a sense of like the whole thing, but like it's more of like an adult version of Star Trek. Like it's funny. It's just like fucking.
Okay, now
It's serious, but it's also not at the same time. It's like it knows like the comedic timing of it all.
yeah. Okay, now who do you think had the better story, Ray or James Kirk?
Oh, Kirk.
Ray had the better story.
Huh?
Ray had the better story.
You think so?
No, no, do not. And see, this is what I knew like what was
Ray
gonna
had too
happen.
much of a convoluted story.
I think like Ray, like so Ray's story in particular was just so fast tracked, right? That's what many people hated about it, that she was a Mary Sue and just got all the powers. And it's not like Luke where he was like
Oh, dude, she straight giving
same.
off straight Mary Sue energy, bro. That shit's crazy.
She read the book. She read the How to Be a Mary Sue for Dummies. And you know what, Daisy, and I think what's gonna happen, and I hate it, is that the Disney cast for Star Wars, it doesn't want to do any more kind of Star Wars content, except for maybe Daisy Ridley. She's gonna have her own Star Wars movies now. Like it, Finn doesn't want to come back because they thought they did him hella dirty. I
Wait,
thought
who?
Finn, Finn's
Oh yeah.
character, they did him dirty. I really thought like it was so like I watched the trailers and I was in anticipation of the Force Awakens. I really thought that the Stormtrooper was gonna be the Jedi, and I was fully prepared for that. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. It's such a subvertive expectations, but to have Ray do it is like, come on. Like, and you see all that shit coming from a mile away after she grabbed the lightsaber. I'm like, oh no, she's force sensitive instead of Finn.
You mean you could have just made them both?
I wouldn't have minded. Like but they hint that Finn is force sensitive to a T, but he never had any formal training, which is cool. Like I think like
Do you
Finn's
feel
story,
like do you feel like the Star Wars movies with having Rey as lead character made it woke?
no, I don't think so. I think they were trying something different because Star Wars was such a male heavy lead. I thought it was a I don't say it was woke. I think it was a cool idea in concept. It just was not executed properly. If they gave Ray the same kind of like trauma or traumatics that Anakin had, like he was so conflicted with, being a loving person and wanting to do good, but then just gets tricked into being evil, right? Or how Luke was a farm boy just trying to figure out the galaxy and how he's going to fit this role into a hero. If they somehow made those two mesh them together for Ray, it would have been perfect,
Creating the
right? But
toxic love story between Kylo Ren and Rey was the worst mistake they ever did.
honestly, if they didn't kiss at the end, I thought they would have been just platonic friends. But like she was, and that's what I'm saying. Like Kylo Ren's end was kind of bad, but Kylo Ren was probably the best character in my opinion for those movies, is because he was so prepared to kill his dad to fulfill his goal to Snoke, but then he didn't want to kill his mom, so he still had that conflict in him, right? And then just at the end, just to give it all up in the Rise of Skywalker, I thought was like kind of like lackluster. Like there
Let's be
should have
real.
been
Let's
more
be
to that.
realistic here. Like, let's be honest. The only reason why Kylo Ren is even allowed to kill his dad was because Harrison Ford didn't want to be fucking Han Solo anymore.
No, 100%. Like that was perfect. I'm like I
Because, like,
don't
think about it.
understand.
Think about it, though. Think about it. It's funny because he didn't want to be Han Solo anymore. So they had to
But he
come
wants
up
to
with
be
an
Indiana
idea to
Jones.
kill him off. But yet they did not even flush out that entire storyline afterwards. They just completely like, oh yeah, he killed Han Solo. And then he shows up
Yeah.
again in the fucking final movie as a
He
Force
came. He
ghost.
came. He came. No, is a projection from his mother. For one,
Whatever,
jackass.
as a whatever, not Force ghost, but yeah, as a fucking
It was
projection.
it was a cop out. It was a 100% cop out, and he just went to go collect a check. That's
Like
all it
him
was.
dying
Harrison
was for
Ford's
nothing.
character check.
Him dying was for nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it. Uh, I don't. I don't understand how Harrison Ford cannot want to do Han Solo stuff anymore, but he's fully prepared to go back to Indiana Jones like in a heartbeat.
It's because he loves Indiana Jones.
I know that, and I don't know. I think like for me, if I was this major character and it made my career, I think I would want to pay a little bit more like respect to it than him just
You know
wanting to get
why?
rid of
You
him.
know why he hates the Star Wars franchise? Because he doesn't understand it.
That could be it. And to be fair, like if he died in the Empire Strikes Back,
Like he was supposed to.
like that would like he was supposed to, yeah, like that he would have probably been happy with it, you know. And to be fair, like I like watching those movies as a kid, like I really thought they were gonna get rid of him, like he was done. And then they bring him back in episode 6. I'm like, all right, cool, that's he's back. But Harrison Ford always like, despite him not liking the character, he always gave 100% to that role. when he was given the opportunity, which I think
No.
is pretty awesome.
What is your opinion of Harrison Ford being Thunderbolt Ross?
I'm I don't know, because the character before him did a very good job of being Thunderbolt Ross, and then he's not even gonna have the mustache. Like I'm kind of pissed off about that.
Well,
Like
it's
I
funny.
kind of want Harrison Ford
They
and wants
explained
to
why
want.
he didn't have the mustache. He was going for a new look because he
I
can't have a mustache when you're president of the United States.
I don't know. I think it would have been fine. I think it would have been good. Like I don't. I'm having like low expectations because I want to see what he can bring to the table, right? Because I think you mentioned it in an interview, like what he did an interview where he's like, it looks like they're gonna have fun, and they're having fun on set. So I think that's why he signed up for it. And to be fair, like to get nowadays, if you get into a Marvel movie, that's like you're golden for a while, you know, because there's multi contracts movies. There's a lot of stuff to be said with it, and your character could live on, right?
Have you seen some of the set photos and designs for the new Fantastic Four movie and how they're the? Have you seen any of that?
No, I haven't. Like I'm trying to like Fantastic Four is another like franchise I never really not understood, but never really got into as a kid. Like I've seen some of the shows, like I wasn't really a big Fantastic Four fan,
Well, they're
so it
going
doesn't interest
practical with the
me.
thing. They're going
Oh,
practical with the thing.
well, that's fantastic because the original Fantastic Four movie, the Ben Grimm also wanted to do the prosthetics, right? He wanted to do that, and he wanted to make sure he had stuck to the original script of being on Yancey Street and being like a thug there. So I thought that was awesome,
But yeah, no. So yeah, he looks comic book accurate.
which is fantastic. I love it when movies get the source material right. Like it's a nice thing. Isn't Doctor Doom supposed to be their villain?
No, it's Galactus.
Oh, Galactus is gonna be their villain. Okay. So I don't know. Like I'm still out. I'm still kind of iffy at Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. I think that's kind of dumb. I think that, like we said before, they're just trying to, get everyone hyped up again.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I don't know if you could see from the fucking. Wait, let me see.
No, I can't see shit.
Hold on.
Oh, I was
See,
about to say, let me grab my phone.
this is the glare. Let me see. Might be
Yeah, it's the
different.
glare.
Let me see real quick. We don't got much time left, so
Okay.
still too much glare. Damn.
Yeah.
Just look it up. Actually, I just sent it to you.
Yeah. I'll look at it. But no, I mean, Isaac, you finally got me. You finally got me to watch Star Trek, and you got me to admit that I think it's better than Disney Star Wars.
That's actually really funny. I can't believe I was able to pull that off. Oh,
Uh,
there you go. I sent it to you right
I see it. Oh shit! That looks good. Dang, I still can't believe you got me to do this. Like I'm utterly shook.
Well, we got less than a minute now. I think it's time to wrap things up.
I think it is too. Thank you guys for listening in, and 500 likes on YouTube. I still will watch the original Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes, guys, come on. Let's get 500 likes. Let's do this.
It's anything for you people. And then you guys, Isaac, I still hate you. I'm gonna hate you to the rest of my life for this inconvenience to my life.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
These are going to the trash now.
He's probably gonna
No,
watch him again.
I'm not gonna watch them again, but I'm not gonna throw them away. I spent hard-earned money on that shit. Anyways, until next time, guys. Keep smoking.
Peace out, everybody.